for the assignment, you take one dependent variable. So for example, you can take a party choice, the party people voted for in the latest election, or gender quotas with the support for having gender quotas in elections. Right, in Ireland, there's a candidate's gender quota. Every party has to have a, what is it, at least 30%, 40%, I forget, female and male candidates on the candidate list. Support for unification of Ireland, but you can also take another variable that you find interesting in the data set. Don't try to explain things like age or social class or whatever, right? They are good independent variables, not good dependent variables. But any sort of attitude or probability to vote for a party or party choice, they're all fine. Then you select a key independent variable that you're interested in. So that would explain the dependent variable. And then you think about what I just talked about in terms of confounding factors. You think about a third variable that might explain the relationship. Yeah, so you have three variables now: a dependent variable or effect, an independent variable or treatment, and a confounding factor or control variable. And then you make you basically make three plots, or two or three plots. One plot where you have just the dependent variable to show how it varies, and one plot where you look at the relationship between the independent and the dependent variable controlling for the confounding factor. Yeah, so this three-way plot. Yeah, and then you put them in slides. And so I would suggest the following slides. First is just a very short introduction saying this is why this is an interesting relationship to look at. And I would it would be good to also refer to the literature there. Yeah, so you should find at least 2 academic articles about this relationship. You can go to Google Scholar, and if you type so if I look at, say, I don't know, support for Irish unification as an independent variable and party choice as the dependent variable, I can go to Google Scholar and do something like Irish unification elections or something like this. And you will find articles that are about that relationship, right? So it should be relatively easy to find articles about the relationship once you know what your independent and your dependent variable is. Then you should have a slide that describes a little bit what this data set is and what the variables are that you're using. And there I would recommend that you go to the Dataverse, the Harvard Dataverse website where this data comes from, and you will find this code book, this PDF file with the code book. I will send you an email actually with a link to that, I think, just to make sure everybody has that. So there is a code book that describes all the variables and describes what survey question was asked to measure this and so forth, just so you're really absolutely sure what variables you're looking at. And then you make a visualization of the main relationship between the independent and dependent variable, and then the second visualization of the main relationship with the control variable added. And then you can conclude what this all means. Yeah. So you have 8 to 10 minutes for your presentation, which means you have about 2 minutes per slide. And you can either do it live in class. So I can give you the 8 or 10 minutes and you can do the presentation. Or if you want, you can send me a recording. And you can either use your phone maybe to record, or you can use PowerPoint slides. With PowerPoint, you can add audio to a slide. Yeah, you can use some video editing software, whatever you want to do. You can pre-record the presentation if you're more comfortable with that. But you can also very well do it live in a moment, right? And of course, it's as a group. So you can either share, you can divide the slides between different presenters, or you can have one presenter, or you can, it's however you want to do it as a group. And then there will be 5 minutes for Q&A. So regardless of whether you have it pre-recorded or you do it live, you have to be present because you have to, of course, answer any questions that might be there. Yeah. So all the members of the group should be present at the presentation and be able to answer questions. If nobody is present from the group, then I'm not going to play the presentation either. Yeah, then I consider it absent. I know that like one or so can be missing, but if nobody is there, I'm not going to. I'm just going to skip that presentation. Right, and so if you're there and you're there for the presentation, you will get the same grade.